against a Uri, 1799, and we're 1736. We're gonna go with D4 on this one. Knight f6. Let's go with C4, C5. Let's go with, we're gonna go with Knight f3. Knight takes. E5. Okay, so this is a popular opening for black here. He's going to play D5 most likely. I take. It's a gambit opening. He can't take back because there are Knight C7 fork ideas. I like doing this D6 line. It kind of tends to mess with a lot of people. I am threatening Knight C7 now. And now I play A3 to play B4. And this pawn is usually guarded pretty well. B4. He's going to go back to B6, and then we just play E3. And we're up a pawn. This D6 pawn is kind of cumbersome here. Nuclear Rodent. Hello, good sir. Just joined Twitch to follow this. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks a lot. I hope you're enjoying it for sure. Glad you're here. Yeah, some mods can be helpful actually. Yeah, I'll probably make like a mod application, or somebody can apply for being a mod if they want to. I'll probably do that pretty soon. There hasn't really been much problems like that, so I haven't really had a need for it. But you do get the occasional, troll every now and then. So I'll probably make an application for that pretty soon. Fallout 4, yeah, Nuclear Rodent. Watched all your YouTube videos already. Nice to watch live. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks a lot for the support. I think we're playing Bishop D3 just to trade off bishops, I guess. That should be okay. Or just Bishop E2. Bishop D3 seems okay, though. Bishop D3, trade off bishops. If he plays E4, we'll just retreat. No big deal. We're up a pawn, so it is kind of a risky opening choice. I mean, if you're going to be down a pawn for a while. Plus, the pawn on D6 is powerful. You can usually win it back. Knight E8 and then D6 and stuff like that. Oh, I do have to watch out for A6 trapping my knight. That would be no bueno. I think we just play A4 though. I'll go Knight A3. Or A5 is also an idea. A5 next move, maybe? He can probably win the D6 pawn back, but even if he wins it back, I still feel like I have a decent position at least. We're going to go Rook B1, I think, just to guard the pawn. So we're up a pawn. He's got to get D6 back at some point. He can't do it too soon, though, because if he goes 98, we go D7. So he needs to play like his own queen D7 at some point. Hey, Anti333, thanks a lot for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream here as well. So what's he going to do here? Queen D7, I play Knight C4, I believe. Hit the bishop and the E5 pawn. I think that works out in my favor. I do need a castle pretty soon, though. Got to keep that king safe. And Kotix, thanks a lot for the follow, too. Glad you guys are enjoying it. Thanks a lot for the support. So we're also up a minute on time, which is not usual. We're usually the ones that are down on time, so this is a nice change of pace. All right, E4. E4. Taking the pawn is possible, but it feels risky. It feels pretty risky, honestly. Take it. He plays like Knight E5, or he can actually trade and take D6. It just feels risky. I'm getting a little too greedy. My king's not castled. I'm not fully developed type stuff. The problem is if I play Queen D2, he plays like Knight E5, and he gets into my position pretty well. Actually, if I take e4, he takes b4. Ooh, that's not good either. I think I have to live with that, though. I think I have to live with it. We're going to go queen d2 and just get castled. Yeah, so he goes 95. We're going to castle, I believe. Yeah, we just got a castle here. We're going to play a5 pretty soon. And probably bishop to b2. I don't think there's any tactics I'm missing out on here. I don't believe so. If he plays knight d3, we actually have knight takes e4, so knight d3 doesn't work out just yet. It's a deflection. Yeah, he can trade off. I'm not expecting to keep the d6 pawn, like, for the whole game. But it is kind of a way to make him... he wants to play queen g4. Queen g4 is not the best thing in the world to allow. There's not really a good way to stop it either. I could play knight to d5. Knight d5, queen takes, knight takes king, or bishop b2. It's not bad. This knight on a3 though is really not doing a whole lot. Is the downside, for sure. Yeah, we're gonna go knight d5. He could play knight f3 check. Ooh, that could be bad. I think we're okay though. If he plays knight f3 check, take king h1 and rook g1, should be okay. I think this is still okay for me. Get rid of that knight with check, and then move the king over. If queen h3, I have rook g1 check, and I keep the g2 square guarded. So I don't think there's... I think his knight f3 does not work out there. Now we're the ones that are actually threatening mate. And yeah, so bishop takes f6 is just going to clean the house here, pretty much. All right, let's analyze this one, because this was an interesting game here. Okay, so the reason this is definitely an opening that's popular. The reason he can't take back on d5 is because I can just take with my queen and then get him into a fork on c7, and then I'm up a piece here, so that's not good for him. So he plays bishop c5, d6. Other possible moves are like knight c3, or e3, or a3, stuff like that. I kind of like the d6 line because it's maybe a little bit riskier, but it does kind of make your opponent figure out what you're going to do against knight to c7 really quick. Yeah, I can try to explain the openings a bit. I think I do a decent job of explaining them. I can't. Unfortunately, it's hard to cover all of the opening theory on every single opening that's being played. In order to get a better understanding of most of the openings, probably better to just look at opening books for them or Google the opening yourself and look up. I try to do as much explanation as I can, but just due to trying to get as many games in as I can for the challenge, I unfortunately can't explain the ins and outs of every single opening I play, so I apologize for that. I play d6 here, though, wanting to play knight c7, so he needs to figure out how to guard that first. Usually, black wants to play a6 to kick this knight out, but once I kind of force him to play knight a6, now he can't play a6 anymore. So I played a3. I want to kick this bishop back a bit. Once this bishop is kicked back, now this pawn is in less danger. It's guarded 2 times and only attacked 1 time. So now I just continue developing. We trade off pieces. He is now threatening a6 to trap my knight. And there weren't much perfect openings either. That's part of it too. a4 to give my knight some space to move back to. a6, knight a3, rook there. Rook b1 to guard the pawn. e4. This is a tricky move for sure. If I take here, he can actually just take b4. And if my rook takes back, he has rook takes c1, and I'm actually in big trouble there if I take the pawn. I don't have to take the knight. I could do something like this, but stuff like bishop a5, and it's a really sticky situation I find myself in. I'm not developed very well. I mean, I can castle, but he's going to get the pawn back, and it's just kind of a sticky situation that I'm not a big fan of. So instead of taking the pawn, I just retreat. Hey, Shoro Manu, thanks a lot for the follow. Really appreciate it. He goes to e5, going for the d3 check. I get castled, queen d7. I played knight d5 because I want to get rid of this knight. I was expecting him to take, and then I can pick up one of these, either the pawn or the knight. His knight f3 check looks like a good idea because, you know, how am I going to get down there to guard it? But after this, I can actually just play rook king h1 and rook g1 to guard the mate, and I actually get my own attack started at the same time. Now, I'm the one threatening checkmate. And he played rook g8 and then immediately resigned. I was just going to play bishop takes, and then probably just rook takes. And I'm just threatening all kinds of discovered checkmate attacks. Not easy for him to stop any of that at all. All right, so I like how you let us know when you're calculating the exchange